Hi class, my name is Annette Markowski. I'm part of your PAD 747 Section 99 class. My topic is facial recognition software, as I mentioned many times before. And today I'm going to discuss 3 different articles with you that I'm going to use. They're peer-reviewed articles. Now, one of the questions that was asked is, how did I discover that these articles were peer-reviewed? And basically for all of the articles, but especially these 3 articles, what I did was I went back to the actual article itself. Initially, I just wanted to know, are there any advertisements? Are there any private companies that are advertising in these journals and in these places that these articles are presented in? Because if that's the case, they could be either for or against my software, and obviously that's a biased opinion, and it wouldn't work right off the bat. But then what was more important was to go back to the publisher's website and just to see how credible it is. And what I found very interesting was that actually the ones that were peer-reviewed were very proud of the fact that they were peer-reviewed, and it was very apparent. I also went to look at the actual author of the article and how credible he or she was. And then, other things that I did was I went to the John Jay library and I spoke to the librarian. I presented that librarian with the articles and also went on the search engine through the John Jay library website to find out more about the article itself. So my first article is titled Biometric Technologies, Functionality, Emerging Trends, and Vulnerabilities, written by Nardo Joseph. The source was the Journal of Applied Security Research. It was a 2009 volume 4 issue, and the article focuses on the history, the predictions for the future of the software, and it was very interesting. It started off with explaining biometrics, and basically biometrics, what is that? It's a Greek term, bio meaning life and metrics to measure, and it consists of facial recognition, iris recognition, fingerprinting, hand, palm prints, and things like that. But I'm going to focus on facial recognition, obviously. The article goes into actually describing what facial recognition is, and obviously that's to take the physiological aspect and facial characteristics, turning it into measurement, and using that to identify individuals by the structure in their face. In the 1960s it was used. It was interesting to see that in the article. Obviously the technology was not as advanced as it is now, because all the computations were actually converted manually, so obviously that leaves room for error. That was very interesting. In the 1970s, 3 individuals, Goldstein, Harmon, and Lesk, try to improve facial recognition software by focusing on lip thickness and hair color. That was very interesting that I found in the article. And then the article goes on to say that currently it's been used in 2001 in Florida, Tampa, Florida, in the Super Bowl, and I've mentioned that already. It was used to scan the crowds. I think it was over 10,000 people, and there were 19 positive hits, and they were scanning for terrorists and any criminals. Also, the article discusses Internal Biometric Group, and they did a study which indicated that facial recognition software is actually the second most widely used software of that type. The first is fingerprinting, and the 3D model would probably make it even more popular. So this article is an excellent article, and it's an excellent example of what my research is really about. It touches up on the history and the current events of the software. So this is one of the articles that I'm definitely going to be using. The second article is City Space and the New World of Urban Law Enforcement Technologies by Samuel Nunn. It's taken from the Journal of Urban Affairs. This article focuses on the military and the now urban police departments and their uses of the technology. And because there's new developments in the technology, the government focuses on sponsoring different research centers and different training sessions in order to implement the technology in military, police departments, so on and so forth. So again, the article stresses that facial recognition recognizes an individual's face from a crowd, and that's compared to a large database that has things already stored in it. It also talks about the neural network system, which is used for pattern identification, whether it's individuals or crime. And again, it's looking at the criminal justice system and how much it has evolved since day one, because now this technology is used to identify perpetrators and suspects, and also different patterns of crime and stuff like that, and also goes into private developers that are using this technology software. So again, another very, very excellent article that I'm going to be using. And the final third article is titled Identity Crisis, Facial Recognition Technology and Freedom of Will by Benjamin Hale, and it was found in Ethnic, Place and Environment Volume 8 issue. This is completely different than the other two. This is dealing with ethics and the discussion of our free will. This article actually focuses on the argument not to use the technology of facial software in today's society. So in my article, this is very helpful because I would like to present the arguments for the uses and against the uses of the technology. The two arguments in here not to use this is the privacy issue and the objective freedom issue. And basically the article focuses about law enforcement agencies and private companies, financial institutions, how this software enables these companies to go really deep into our lifestyles, and how much will that impact our decision-making process, how much of that does it influence how we act or how we don't act, and how much our privacy will be infringed upon by the government, and what's the limit. The article goes into identifying identity, and there's three ways. There's a personal identity, institutional, and practical. Institutional identity deals with our phone numbers, addresses, social security numbers, things like that are stored in the data system. The practical identity is the way we view oneself, and then the picture identities and the actual characteristics that we have. Now the argument of privacy focuses on picture identity and institutional identity, and basically in this article Hale focuses on, well, how about if this facial recognition software scans our faces and knows our every move and our every aspect of our every life, whether it's the political affiliations, our friends, people we hang out with, we associate with. Now if that's going to be stored in a data system, who goes to say that an employer who just basically wants to know if you qualify for a certain job doesn't go that extra mile to look into these private aspects of your life, and how much will that actually impact if you get a job or if you don't get a job, or maybe with law enforcement to prove that you're guilty or not guilty. Now how much of that is really relevant, but yet maybe by the use of this technology individuals will be able to access this kind of information. And the other objective freedom argument focuses on law enforcement and government and their ability to maybe go a little beyond what will be the max limit of them accessing that kind of information. What will it be really used for? So again, this is a very interesting argument and very helpful one, because I will want to touch up on the argument for and against the uses of facial recognition software in my research paper. So I want to wish you luck. I hope this was enough to explain about my articles. And again, I look forward to reading all of your papers, and again, wish you good luck. Take care, guys.